The guilt you feel after eating isn't a character flaw. It's not a willpower failure. It's just energy that hasn't arrived yet. Hunger doesn't always mean low energy. Sometimes the delivery confirmation never came, so your brain keeps reordering. The guilt you feel after eating is not a moral failure. It's a delivery error. I used to sit on my couch after dinner staring at the empty container of whatever I'd just inhaled, and the first thought was always the same. Why did I do that again? Not even a question, really. More like a verdict. I'd eaten too much, too fast, too late. And now the punishment was this heavy fog sitting in my chest, half physical, half emotional. And I couldn't tell where the food ended and the shame began. For years, I thought the problem was me, my discipline, my choices, my inability to just stop when I was full. And I tried everything that logic would suggest. Smaller plates, meal prep Sundays that lasted exactly one Sunday, a note on my fridge that said, "Are you actually hungry?" Which, by the way, I ignored every single time with the confidence of someone who absolutely knew the answer and did not care. But here's the thing I didn't understand until I started working with the devices that actually measure what's happening inside the body. I build software for blood glucose monitors. I spend my days looking at how cells receive energy, how signals get delayed, how systems get overwhelmed. And one evening, after another round of eating then regretting, I looked at my own continuous glucose monitor data. And something clicked. Not emotionally, structurally. My blood sugar had spiked fast. That part was normal. But the drop was sluggish. It lingered up there, like a traffic jam that wouldn't clear. And during that entire slow descent, my body was doing something I recognized from my work. It was sending out hunger signals. Not because I needed more food, because the food I'd already eaten hadn't fully arrived where it was supposed to go. Think of it like a highway with a toll booth. You've got plenty of cars, plenty of glucose, but the toll booth only has so many lanes open. When too much arrives at once, everything backs up. The cars are there. The fuel is there. But the cells on the other side of the booth are still waiting, still signaling, we need more. Because from their perspective, nothing has shown up yet. That's what was happening to me. I wasn't overeating because I was greedy, or broken, or weak. I was overeating because my body's processing capacity, the maximum rate at which my cells could actually absorb what I was giving them, was bottlenecked. The system was congested. And congestion doesn't feel like a traffic metaphor when you're living it. It feels like hunger. It feels like failure. It feels like something is deeply, personally wrong with you. I remember the night this reframing actually landed for me. I'd walked home from work. I do that most days, about an hour on foot, my version of decompression, and I was starving by the time I got through the door. I made a quick stir fry, ate it standing up in the kitchen, and 20 minutes later, I was opening the fridge again, scanning for something else. That familiar pull, that I just ate but I'm still not satisfied loop. Normally, I would have grabbed whatever was easiest and eaten it while mentally composing my apology to my future self. But that night, I paused. I pulled up my CGM app instead, and there it was. Blood sugar still elevated. Insulin still working hard to shuttle everything through. My satiety signals, the ones that are supposed to tell my brain, okay, we're good, you can stop now, were lagging behind the actual intake by maybe 30 or 40 minutes. My body wasn't lying to me. It was just slow to process the memo. That was the moment I stopped thinking about eating as a willpower problem and started thinking about it as a throughput problem. There's this concept in biochemistry, well, in engineering too, honestly, called maximum processing velocity. It's the ceiling on how fast a system can handle input. Your cells have a version of this. There's a maximum rate at which glucose transporters can pull sugar out of your blood and into your muscles and organs. When you exceed that rate, When you eat a big meal fast, especially one loaded with simple carbs, the overflow doesn't just disappear, it circulates. It triggers more insulin. And your brain, still waiting for the delivery-confirmed signal, keeps asking for more. It's not that insulin is failing. It's not that your metabolism is broken. It's that the delivery network is overwhelmed, and the confirmation receipt hasn't come through yet. So you eat again, and then you feel guilty again. And the cycle has nothing to do with your character. I think about this a lot now, especially on the hard nights. The ones where I get home late, I'm tired, I don't want to cook, and the only thing that sounds good is something warm and carb-heavy and immediate. I used to punish myself on those nights. The internal monologue was brutal, honestly. You know better. You literally work in this field. As if knowledge alone should override a body that's screaming for quick energy. But knowing what I know now, I've started doing 3 things differently. Not as a diet plan, I'm so tired of diet plans, but as a way to work with the bottleneck instead of against it. The first thing was embarrassingly simple. I stopped snacking between meals. Not because snacking is evil, but because every time I ate something small, I was adding cars to an already congested highway. I was never giving my system a chance to fully clear the previous load before dumping more in. When I spaced things out, even just a little, the toll booth could actually process what was already in line. The second thing, I started moving after meals, not exercising. I want to be really clear about that because the last thing I need after dinner is someone telling me to go do burpees. I mean a short walk, sometimes literally just 10 minutes around my apartment building. And the reason isn't calorie burning. It's that gentle movement helps open up the glucose transporters in your muscle cells. It's like adding an extra lane to the toll booth. More capacity, less backup, faster delivery confirmation. The third thing was the one that actually changed my relationship with food the most. I started tracking, but not calories, not weight. I started tracking my blood sugar response and my satiety timing. When did I actually feel full? How long after eating? What meals left me satisfied for hours versus what meals had me back in the kitchen in 30 minutes? It turned eating from an emotional courtroom, guilty or not guilty, into an observation log. And something about watching the data instead of judging the behavior made the whole thing feel less like war and more like tinkering, adjusting, figuring it out with curiosity instead of contempt. I want to be honest, I still have bad nights. Last week, I ate an entire bag of keto gimbap at 11 p.m. while watching a show I wasn't even paying attention to. And for about 5 seconds, the old guilt tried to show up. But then I caught myself. And instead of, I failed again, the thought was closer to, okay, the bottleneck got hit tonight. What was the setup? And when I looked back, I could see it. I'd skipped my walk, ate dinner too early, and by late evening, my body was running on fumes. With no satiety signal in sight. It wasn't a collapse of willpower, it was a logistics problem. That shift from I'm broken to the delivery was backed up sounds small. Maybe it sounds like I'm just rationalizing, but I promise you, when you've spent years carrying guilt about something as basic as feeding yourself, reframing it as a system issue instead of a personal flaw is not a small thing. It's the difference between hating your body and trying to understand it, between punishing yourself and adjusting the flow. You didn't eat too much. The delivery just hadn't arrived yet. And guilt? Guilt isn't a warning from your conscience. It's a status report from a congested system. You don't need to feel bad about it, you just need to open up the lanes.